Hey everybody, it's Dalton. That's a good way to get the morning started on a jig. Second cast this morning. Just a little guy. I don't care, he's a fish, and it's just good to be out here. And the sun just came up. It was pretty foggy. Like I say, I just started fishing. And so hopefully I'll catch some more fish. Give you guys a little report here in a little bit. I really am starting to think about the pre-spawn right now. I want to go over some baits with you. Yeah. Oh, this one here is not bad. He's not huge or anything. I haven't really caught anything real big, but he's bigger than what I've been catching. He might run about 1.25 pounds, something like that, maybe even 1.5 pounds. Beautiful fish. Got him on that jig, and it just seems to be, for me, rocks are the key. Rocks are the key for the jig. So guys, I've had quite a few jig bites today, and I can tell you right now that all of my jig bites have been, I'm guesstimating no deeper than say 12 feet. Most of them have been around 5 to 8 to 10 feet. So some of these bass are moving up shallow. I'm throwing a new trailer. I'd never tried it before. It's by Berkley. It's a power bait. It's called a chitterbug. And what I do is I just take this thing, I trim it up, and I put it on my ball head jigs that I like. And I'm really impressed with this because it has great movement. It's 3 inches, so it's not too big. Still has plenty of that kind of finesse-y look for a finesse style jig, but at any rate, it's the power bait chitterbug, and this is kind of the blue-green pumpkin color. It's worked out very well. I matched it up with a peanut butter and jelly skirt, 1/4 ounce weight, shallow water, just getting it up against these rocks. And that's where I've been getting my jig bites today. All right, everybody, I'm going to just sit down here and kind of give you a little report. Today's Tuesday. I got out here this morning. Well, I probably got on the water, I'm guessing around 9:30, 9:45. Water temperatures were right around 54. They're like 57, 58 now. It's about 1 o'clock. Water clarity is good. It's not all muddied up. It may be a little dingy in some areas, but there's still a couple of feet of visibility. I didn't go way back though. I didn't even go up to topless. Kind of just fished this side of the lake today. Over here on the dam end, it's a lot clearer, but it's overall, it's really clear. I don't anticipate it, and I'm only guessing, but I don't anticipate it getting as muddy as it did last year, because last year the lake was at 9%. It was like a bowl, and then all the junk just flooded in and muddied the lake up. There is some debris. Most of it's all small. You can get through it just fine. There's a few bigger logs floating around. There's also some rain coming up. I think this Saturday. Today's Tuesday, and I think this Saturday it's supposed to rain maybe for a week or two. So I won't be back out here while it's raining. I don't have any rain gear. I ruined my last set of rain gear. I threw it in the washing machine, didn't read the instructions, threw it in the dryer, and it shrank my gear up, or my rain gear up, so I had to throw it away. Last 3 winters have been kind of interesting for me. I broke my ankle one winter. Some of you remember that. I missed the whole winter fishing. Last year, the lake was a complete mud puddle. This year, I had eye surgery, and you know, haven't been able to get out much, but I'm sure glad I got out today. So I got bit on 2 things today. One of them, not a lot of bites though, is just this little Ned rig. It's a little green pumpkin Z-Man. And I used a 1/6 ounce weight, a little bit heavier weight. Now, for me, I'm not really thinking about winter fishing anymore. I'm thinking pre-spawn. Pre-spawn for me, I know a lot of guys start earlier and some later, but for me, right around the middle of February is when I start thinking about pre-spawn. And there's certain baits that I like to have tied on out here, because these bass, these spotted bass, when they spawn, they actually spawn deeper than largemouth. Some of them will spawn out to 20, 25 feet. So having a little bit heavier Ned rig helps get it down there where some of them may be spawning. And there's still bass out there deep right now. The other thing that I got bit on, and this is what I caught my fish on today, I did not catch any big fish. I did not catch very many. And I'm embarrassed to say I missed a bunch of them. I probably had 8 or 10 bites on this jig, and I missed more than half of them. Just couldn't get them hooked. I think they were just too small. But little 1/4 ounce jig, peanut butter and jelly color, and I just got a little cross style bait on there, 12-pound test line. That's I try to keep it around the rocks, around the bluffs, move it real slow. That's how I got all my bites today. Now, as the pre-spawn picks up, and these fish start moving more, especially when the wind kicks, man, I want my bladed jig. This is a Strike King Thunder Cricket. I got a little fluke style bait on the back, throw it on 15-pound test. I want this thing on, especially when that wind kicks up. Now, when I start going out to Margarita, which probably won't be till about the middle of March, some of that grass is going to start growing back a little bit, and that's when that bladed jig is perfect. The other thing, if I get a little bit of wind, I didn't get any bites on this today, is a crankbait. This is a wiggle wart. I like these brighter colors whenever the water is just a little bit dingier. This will go around 10 to 15 feet, up to 20 if you can get a far enough cast. The other thing that I'm going to spend a lot of time on this year, I got a new jig head for it, and I'll do a video on this eventually, but a shaky head. Every year, for some reason, it just seems like I pick one technique and I want to spend a lot of time with. I think last year was the drop shot, year before was a crankbait, and this year it's going to be a shaky head. That's how I set it up there. This is a blue 6-inch worm that I pour. This would also be really good for the spawn out here. As those bass get down there in that 25 feet of water, 20 feet of water spawning, bring that shaky head by. Another little bait that I'm really excited about, because you're going to be seeing a lot of little tiny bait fish here before long. And I got this little Z-Man bait. It's called a micro finesse, okay? And this is called a shad fries. And I just got it in the white color. Show you what this thing looks like. I mean, it looks just like a little tiny shad. They even make the little micro jig heads for these micro finesse baits. But if you look at this thing, it's just a little tiny shad. I was throwing it around. I didn't get any bites on it. But that little tail just kind of wiggles really nice. Got it on a little Z-Man, that little micro Z-Man jig head, 4-pound test. I know this is going to be a player as we get farther into this post-spawn, as we get into the spring, and I really plan on using this for crappie. I think this is going to be a crappie bait. It's going to be really good this year. When I was out here last time, a couple of weeks ago, as you know, I had the eye surgery. My eye got really dry, and it was bothering me, so I was talking to a guy at the ramp, and he's a friend of mine, and he says, look, man, get you a pair of those ski goggles. So I know this looks funny, but I went and got me some of these right here. And I tell you what, when I'm going down the lake, I don't feel anything. It keeps my eyes totally dry. I know it looks crazy, it looks weird, my wife can't stand it, but man, it works, and I'm sure glad I got them. Well, I just wanted to get something together for you guys. You know, everything looks good out here. It's a beautiful day. I'm gonna do some more fishing, but I wanted to stop and you know, if I got one bait right now that I would recommend above all others, is going to be a jig. And I would definitely throw a jig regularly out here. I had a good jig year last year out here, and I plan on having another one this year. Right now, I'm just using a 1/4 ounce. If I got no wind and I'm not fishing terribly deep, I'm going to stay with that 1/4 ounce. I can get it right over the top of rocks. It doesn't get jammed up as bad. Lighter line, 12-pound test, and then you know, I'll throw heavier jigs if I need to. Well, I appreciate you all. I'm going to stay off the lake during the rains, and when it settles back down, I'm going to come back out and fish, get you guys, you know, up to speed. I can't say I figured anything out today. I really didn't. My bites were mostly around rocks. I guess that's something I figured out. But even in a little area where it was just flat, muddy bottom, I was getting bites on that Ned rig. So they're kind of in different places. Well, I thank you all for tuning in. I hope this helps, gives you a little heads up if you're going to come out here soon. Lake's looking great. It's come up 12% since the last time I was here. It went from 61 to 73%, and I think it's going to go quite a bit more. So we're going to have a lot of water this year, and that's a good thing. I appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you soon.